A new season has begun, and while transformation is inevitable for many, your life will remain the same if this is the way you want it to be. However, you can change your life with a better plan from Lifeline Financial Programs. Begin fortnightly cash installments with any amount, then watch your finances multiply into thousands of dollars as you create a brand new future. Life is not a dream. You only get what you put in. We know you cannot do it alone. And this is why Lifeline Financial Programs created the best financial plans to help you transform your life. Guaranteed. Call us now at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Greetings, and welcome to all my friends, wherever you're watching us from. We are very happy to have you here with us, and it is very interesting how time is flying and things are popping over here in at PSI. It's kind of crazy. Really crazy tonight. It's just so much that is happening and so fast. It is absolutely amazing how things are popping and how fast things are popping. Well, let me welcome you. It is an absolute pleasure having you again, and of course, it is always a pleasure to be here with you, to at least keep the information going as we continue to keep you updated on what is happening across the world. There has been quite a bit happening on the back end, and when the day is over, of course, right here on PSI TV, we keep you posted as we continue to keep the updates update coming in. While I'm speaking with you, so much is happening online. It's a lot is popping here. It is not a joke at all. And of course, it is no joke. St. Kitts yes, St. Kitts has a lot happening right now. It's a lot happening in St. Kitts. Today was their celebration. Yes. And they had a road march. They had a road march today. They had a road march today, and it was absolutely quite interesting as we watched St. Kitts. Absolutely amazing. VI Massive, yes. Welcome to the VI Massive, yes. The council, welcome. Share with everyone. Share. This is not going to be a joke this evening. We have quite a bit on our plate as we get things together here. But so much is happening. It is no joke at all. You look at the entire emancipation period as we see it. Madness, if you ask me. And all over the world, the Central Americas, you go right now. The madness continues as the madness continues as people continue to behave crazy in the name of emancipation. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure what is happening. For all my friends on WhatsApp, goodness gracious, maybe we need to go back over St. Vincent. Juanita King, welcome. I'm seeing so much happening here. It's crazy. What's going on here? Is it that our world is at a place where everything is just madness galore? Is that what is happening? I'm getting news out of St. Vincent right now where it seems they're after the nurses over there now, which is not good at all. Wow, it's crazy. Quite interesting indeed. I'm actually watching quite a bit of news coming into me via our online connection here, and it is no joke at all. Things are just popping everywhere you go, and I'm not sure if we are ready for all of this. I mean, our time has come for transformation. It is a period of transformation, a period of fast calculation, a period of practical thinking, a period where we cannot be driven by fear, but we have to be brave enough to stand quietly as we calculate the happenings around us and make or take the appropriate actions as we move forward. I have to keep saying this because it is getting to the place now that we must be calculated in our approach to everything that is happening if we're going to save ourselves. It's not a joke. And when the day is done, we have to be calculated. Let me give thanks before I get into anything else. Thanks to the great Creator, as established by our forefathers in the great law of peace, which is the earliest constitution we could ever have. And our great ancestors gave thanks to the great Creator. By extension, I continue to do the same because it's a very good attitude and a powerful spirit to be thankful. Never you accept anything and not be thankful. Never you, and when I say anything, never you take goodness for granted. Never you ever live your life without being grateful for the things you have. Many people do not have the things you have. And as such, that in itself is enough to be thankful for. Now, the whole matter of emancipation and independence has been a question on the minds of many people. And if you look at where we are today in relation to our strides moving forward, many people are currently wondering what exactly is happening. I hear people talk about repatriation, and many people calling themselves black people. I'm not sure when we have become, our status has been subjugated to black. If you look at this microphone, the covering of this mic, that's black. None of us within the Central Americas natives of the land are black people. None of us are black people. This pen is black. That's the color. This covering on the microphone is black. We are copper-colored people. The greatest nation that ever lived on the earth. The problem we have is that we were not told of our greatness. Our greatness belies us. Yes? And those who know how great the melanated races or the copper-colored race is, choose not to tell us, because when the day is done, if you know how great you are as a nation of the Central Americas, a lot of things perhaps would change. You look at the same people across the Americas, America, North, Central, South America. If you look at all of these people and other places in the world where our peoples are, if we should be told of our greatness, if we should realize our greatness, then a lot of things will change. If you notice, the Europeans are actually claiming our greatness for themselves. They manage the music, they manage the food, they manage the socioeconomic developments across the world. Everything is owned by European people. Why? Is it that the melanated man or woman is incapable of managing his own affair? Hell no. He's not incapable. The problem is we don't know ourselves as a people. Greetings, Sheldon. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Yes? If we were to know our greatness, then everything that was stolen from us, they would have to give it back to us. But because we don't know what is stolen or what has been taken, then no one has a problem, because you don't know. You don't ask, you don't know. So what? No one has anything to worry about. And this is where we are as a people. We have to get to the place where we begin to regain ourselves, where we begin to empower ourselves, where we begin to look at who we are as a people. And by virtue of that knowledge, reclaim our greatness as we move through the earth. Yes. So it is nothing to take lightly. I think the time has come for us to inform ourselves. The time has come for us to re-educate and inform ourselves as we move forward. And thus I thought it might be a good thing to have a talk this evening, just to talk. I think the time has come for us to start talking. We need to start talking, because I believe it is because of the lack of knowledge, the lack of information, the lack of the lack of interconnectivity, why we have been our rights have been abrogated, and whatever we have is being taken away from us. Now, the whole matter of emancipation, as you know it, has been, I think, one of gross misunderstanding. And when I say gross misunderstanding, I think it is so bad that every year we meet, and every year we wind up on each other and jump up and down, and every year It's fun to wind up, and now the women are going naked as hell. No clothes. Because it is emancipation celebration. Yes, more rum not drink, more money not spend, and the white man and the Indian and the Chinese set the bucket to catch money from melanated people who don't know themselves, and we continue to pump billions, if not trillions, of dollars into the hands of the business people who don't look like us. And we're not even aware that the more we build other people, the less we benefit. We hate to build our own people, because if we build our own people, some of us cannot stand to acknowledge that your same copper-colored brother, when you help him to have $1, he will spend it back in your own community, or some community where copper-colored people are. If you look at how the European and the Chinese and the Indian spend their money, you don't benefit from it, because they are from their lands where they go to with their money. Their money goes into the banks and they go to their land, and their people benefit. But your people, as copper-colored people, are yet to understand what true wealth is. And for those of us who are able to amass a couple dollars, you despise your brothers, because when the day is done, you are better than they are. Crap, if you ask me. This is the level of distorted thinking we have as copper-colored people. So it boils down to a place where it is about who is better than who have more than who is driving the best car. That now is a competition. Who can drive the best car? Who can wear the best clothes? It's a competition. While our brothers and sisters are hungry, none of us are even careful to ensure that programs are established that our brothers and sisters can at least live a decent life. The slave master said, lift yourself by your bootstrap, but they never gave our people anything to even catch on to lift up ourselves, much the more to lift up yourself by your bootstrap when you weren't even given a pair of boots. And with all the money we have, trillions of dollars among copper-colored people, and we are still the poorest nation in the world because we call ourselves black. Black. It is disgraceful because we do not know ourselves. Black has no status in law. Remember that. Black. This black covering on the microphone. You call yourself black man, right? Or black woman. Black has no standing in law. So if you call yourself a black man or black woman, you have automatically displaced yourself. I want to forget what I'm saying. I hear people talking about reparation for black people. You talk about reparations and call yourself black, you negate your right immediately. Period. If you are black, how the hell you going to be how you going to talk about reparations when you are black? Nothing black gets reparation because you're a thing. The Chinese got reparation. The Caucasian got reparation. The Indian, whoever else, got all of those nations. Note, Chinese, Caucasian, these are nations. What nation are you? The black nation? You get the point, right? We have displaced ourselves, and that is the only reason why, as a people, We were never given any respect because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. The matter of independence and all of these celebrations has become a serious matter of concern. The matter of independence and emancipation has become a very serious matter. I am seeing Brother DENICO. I'm not sure if he's in the chat or not. Maybe he's if he's in the waiting room. I'm not sure if he's there or he has locked himself out or what. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing him at all. I have Brother DENICO BRISON with me this evening. And he's an attorney at law and a qualified attorney at law. And let me just send a message to him. He will be here with me this evening to examine the matter of independence and emancipation. Because I think we have been so misplaced. Oh, good, he's there now. We have been so misplaced to the point where we are not even sure who we are. And I'm going to take this in steps as we go through this together to help you to understand who we are, where we are, what we're about, how what we're doing is absolutely crazy. To help us to understand what to do to regain our sovereignty. I'm not talking indigenous now. Because when the day is done, indigenous people have no clue what the hell they're about. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to say it this way. But when you look at all the crap that has been happening in the name of indigenous and all the classes that people are going and all the crap that some of us are doing to swindle money from our brothers and sisters, technically, to swindle money from them. Everybody getting documents and the documents ain't worth crap. What is it worth? Can you take it to the bank and open an account with it? For those of you who have. Can you take your documents to the airport you're traveling out and present it to the teller and she notes it as credible? Yes? These are some of the questions I'm asking all my indigenous people who, or I could say so-called indigenous. What have we been doing wrong? Are we not aware that we have been doing it wrong? I've been doing some research the other day, and it's a very simple process. The acclamation or the reclamation, I put that in quotes, of our status as the men and women of the land who we are. It's a very simple process. And you cannot do it without the corporation. You can't. If the corporation has abrogated your rights, listen to me carefully. For those of us who are indigenous people or would be, or you want to be indigenous, to reclaim your rights. I'm not sure why this term means so much to some of us. Because we are lost as hell. If a man uses the pen to take your rights from you, you also use the pen to reclaim it. Don't run away and hide and tell yourself that the man, the government is this and government is that. You cannot function without them. You can do nothing without the same people you're cussing and calling a bunch of idiots. You can't do nothing without them. They have made your life what it is. You now need to be strategic, function with knowledge to position yourself that the same people who you cussing out hand back to you what is just and right for you. It's a very simple process. Let us talk to the right people. I'm not sure why I'm going on this. Welcome to the raw truth. Share this with your friends. Share. This is going to get really serious tonight. Share. Because I need to help my people to understand ourselves, where we're coming from, who we are, what we're about. Many people who call themselves chiefs, who have been locked in jail, whether you want to say they don't want you to know the truth or they're trying to frighten you into whatever else, you could use that line of argument. But when you are doing it wrong and unlawful and you get locked in jail, who the hell you going to blame? Who are you going to blame? I'm talking about independence and emancipation. I have a lot to share with you tonight. But please share this. Share. Right? When we do it wrong and we get locked up for false documents because they have no standing in law. False documents. People issuing false documents in the name of indigenous. And the government takes it and looks at it, and when they look at it, they realize that no, something about this is wrong. What are you going to do? You're going to call your chief, and if you call the chief, you can't find them because they don't business with you. You're on your own. They take your money, right? And poor you so fool. You don't know, say Steve them thief in your money. Full up your head with all kind of crap and tell you how government ripping you off and this and that and crap. And they're not giving you the right information or the right documentation. And you take it, go down the road, police stop you on the road, you can't defend yourself, and you end up in trouble. Who are you going to blame? I think I should do a presentation one evening specifically in reference to indigenous peoples. How indigenous people function. What we should do to liberate ourselves as indigenous people. Because we have lost connection. We have lost our road as a people. Not as black people, but as copper-colored people. Yes? Just to set the tone. And for some of the idiots who are yet to get it, and listen, I'm watching the chat, you know, and the prophet said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. For some of us who, this is so strange. It is so strange. And it sounds funny, and we don't get it. Listen to Kenny. I want you to listen to Kenny well. I am not going to lead you down the wrong road. Welcome to the raw truth. It might shock your pants off or whatever else you wear. Yes, but brace yourselves for it. We must wake up to the reality of our circumstances. Now, I see our beloved brother coming in, and I'm gonna begin by, I'm gonna take it in steps. I'm gonna take it very slow this evening. Very slowly. I'm gonna take it very slowly because I think that the time has come for us to talk. Please share this. Share. Share with everyone. This is a session. This is a knowledge session. And I would hope that for those of us who are here, we brace ourselves to be informed about our reality as a people. I've been watching all kinds of crazy things happening. And oh my gosh, when you look at our people, running up and down on the road, winding up half naked in the name of emancipation. It hurt my heart. I wonder, in the name of our great creator, how we have been led so far down the rabbit hole. How have we been led? How have we been allow ourselves to be led so far down the rabbit hole? It is very sad, and I look at it with pain in my heart as I watch my people celebrating with little knowledge of who they are, and everybody running over the whole place and winding up naked, not understanding exactly what we are. We have Brother DENICO in the room, and I think I need to bring him in at this point because he perhaps has a whole lot to tell you as well. And a good friend of mine, he's an amazing man. He's just a no nonsense man, perhaps, if you ask me. He doesn't play games, and an international lawyer, one versatile in law, and he's here with us this evening to help us straighten out our head. And I'm not saying this disrespectfully, I'm saying this in a way that we can relate to the fact that we have been lied to. We con ourselves into thinking the things that we think. It's technically our fault because we have not done our research. We have not educated ourselves. We have not been searching for knowledge. We accept everything we have been told, everything. And now we are all the way down the rabbit hole and can't find ourselves. We have to change this as we move forward. I see Brother DENICO still setting up himself, and that's fine. Now, I'm going to take a short break in a minute, and when we come back, we're going to begin to look at the matter of emancipation and the matter of emancipation and independence. What exactly is this? Have we been given the right? Were we given a raw deal, or is it that we chose not to understand these things? I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, we dive in a minute.
The raw truth.
The raw truth.
The raw truth.
The voice of the America.
Welcome back, and for those of you who are joining us, we thank you so much for coming in. And please share this with all your friends because this is going to get very interesting in a minute as we open the raw truth to you. Are you ready, brother DENICO? I see you still setting up yourself over there. Yes. I'm actually watching him in the mirror as he put himself together. But it is quite interesting, a very interesting presentation we have for you this evening. Now we're going to first look at the matter of independence. What really is independence? We need to look at that carefully as we examine the matter of independence. Now I'm going to look at the nations. I'm going to look at the nations which are currently labeled as independent. Jamaica became independent August 6, 1962, remaining a member of the British Commonwealth. I want you to note that. They remain a member of the British Commonwealth. Barbados became independent on November 30th, 1966, after joining the ill-fated West Indies Federation, 1958-62. Under first Spanish and then British colonial rule, the two islands that constitute the state of Trinidad and Tobago, well, they are now republic, achieved independence in 1962. St. Vincent and the Grenadines achieved full independence on October 27, 1979. The United States had previously informally recognized St. Vincent as a federated state in the British Commonwealth, but did not formally recognize its independence until the appointment of Melanie Bish as American ambassador to St. Vincent on November 23rd, 1981. U.S. recommendation of St. Kitts and Nevis, independence, 1983. The United States recognized St. Kitts or St. Christopher and Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis since August 3rd, 1988. On September 19, 1983, the same day that country declared independence. And it says here, finally on November 1st, 1981, Antigua and Barbuda achieved independence with Vera Bird as the first prime minister. St. Lucia achieved full independence on February 22nd, 1979. The United States had previously informally recognized St. Lucia as a federated state of British Commonwealth, but did not formally recognize St. Lucian independence until the appointment of Sally Angela Shelton as American ambassador to St. Lucia on May 17, 1979. I think I'll stop with Grenada. Grenada gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1974, and the United States recognized it that same year. Now, my question would be the process, it seems, of recognition for independence. Let me go to lawyer DENICO BRISON, because now the question that I would like to ask, what qualifies, and first of all, greetings, brother DENICO. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be here with you tonight.
It's a pleasure, man. And when the day is over, I'm happy you were able to at least get things sorted so you can have a chat with us. We're looking at the matter of independence and emancipation, and two tricky topics perhaps, but at the same time, it highly misunderstood even. The question is, what qualifies one for emancipation, if I may ask you?
Okay.
What qualifies one to become an independent state?
Okay, I will answer that question presently. But in your monologue, you spoke at length about the mental state of our people.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to quote Dr. Walter Rodney in that regard. He says, and it all goes back to how we were educated. It was not an education system designed to give young people confidence and pride as members of West Indian societies, but one which sought to instill a sense of deference toward all that was European and white. Colonial schooling was education for subordination, exploitation, the creation of mental confusion, and the development of underdevelopment.
Yes. I'm here. Go ahead.
I wanted to put that out there because it would put in context your remarks when you started your monologue and you were wondering why are we as a people so disoriented? And one of the reasons is that we were educated in a colonial educational system that was designed to create mental confusion and the development of underdevelopment.
Wow.
Reflect on that.
Wow.
So do you know how a better context of why we are in the condition that we are in?
Go ahead.
Okay, coming back to the matter of independence. In the emancipatory trajectory of our people, and we have our history can be divided into three broad strokes, three broad categories. Our history starts with slavery, then came colonialism, and for some of them, the islands you mentioned during your monologue, then came independence. So we can see independence as a progressive step toward the emancipation of our people. It is not perfect, but when you compare it to the abject position we occupied under slavery, to the situation or the position we occupy today, you can objectively say that there has been progress in our status as a people.
Okay. So looking at it from where we are at this point, looking at
in
it
the
from
historical perspective.
Yes, but looking at it from where we are, progress perhaps, but at the same time, one is yet to wonder when you look at our economic status, when you look at our social, spiritual, psychological frame as a people. And if you notice, I read from my list of independent nations, the years when our nations have become independent. My question is, looking at it from where we sit, is it a matter that we have not been taught appropriately in relation to what it means to be free? Or is it that we have not been given the appropriate mechanism to function as such? Or is it that we have been so psychologically deranged to the point where it's like tying a goat in the middle of your yard on a post, and the goat's been there for 3 months, and then you loose the goat from the peg, and the goat still stand up there not moving because in his head it is still tied to the post.
Boy, now you come around to the situation in our emancipatory progress, and it brings us right to the present condition that the BVI finds itself in today with the United Kingdom, where the United Kingdom is threatening the BVI with what is called as an order in council or direct rule. They are going to take over the governance of the island. Well, I can tell you 2 words, some good news. And the words are jus cogens. They are Latin words. And what they mean is compelling law. Now, in spite of all the efforts colonialist education has made to keep us blind, they have made several errors. And one of the errors is that they have written down their thoughts and their knowledge, and we have access to that. So in spite of the colonialist training, which was education to create mental confusion, there are those among us who saw through the fog and saw the light and examined their books carefully, deeply, thoughtfully, and over a length of time. And we have come to realize that, like you said, we have the tools to free ourselves. But as you pointed out, we are like the goat that has been loosened from the peg, but we are so accustomed to being tethered that we do not realize we can walk away. And right now, the people's every non-self-government territory, and we are busy promoting that, Pros for Legal Foundation, a foundation I work with, because we have discovered that the right to self-determination is something that is called in law a jus cogens norm, meaning the right to self-determination, jus cogens norm. It's a new thing.
Yes.
You have to listen to this carefully.
Wow.
What does it mean? A jus cogens norm is a rule of such an exalted status in international law that under no conditions are you allowed to deviate or derogate from that law. And what we discovered is that the right of self-determination belongs to that category of law. Meaning this in practical terms, an order in council cannot overrule the people of the BVI's jus cogens right to self-determination. An order in council is an inferior legal instrument. We are right now in our part of the Caribbean, in the Dutch part of the Caribbean, undergoing that exercise with our colonial taskmasters. And on July the 4th, Independence Day, the state secretary wrote and confirmed to us, yes, indeed, and in fact, you people possess this peremptory right to self-determination. And she went on, any kingdom law that violates that right has to step aside because that right prevails over kingdom law. And I'm here to share the happy news that that right to self-determination, that jus cogens right to self-determination, also prevails on the BVI. And if the politicians would hear the message, believe what they are reading, and stand firm, they can emancipate their people without using a gun or any inch of violence. And like you said, using the pen to liberate themselves.
Now, maybe some of us, you know what I'm seeing, my beloved brother? Maybe, just maybe, and I'm going to be very specific with the BVI and Anguilla and
the Cayman Islands.
The Cayman Islands.
The Turks and Caicos Islands.
Maybe they don't want to become independent nations. The prince said it just the other day when he went to make a presentation in Africa to some people up there, that all Commonwealth nations who wish to move away from the Queen are free to do so. It is not that we didn't know that it is our right to do so, but everybody still sitting on looking. Why is it that our people are still stuck to the colonialist? Afraid? Is it that they're afraid to move, or they feel helpless because they feel that if a war should come and they have to fight, Britain has the big guns to...
Well, let me again remind you what our brilliant brother Fanon said. Colonial education was education to create mental confusion. It was education designed for the development of underdevelopment. So when you understand that we spent the last 100 years in an education system designed to undermine our self-confidence and create mental confusion, you will understand how difficult it is for people to believe what they are actually reading.
That's the goat tied in the middle of the yard, right?
Yes. You lose him, and he still remains there because he is so used to being fettered that he cannot fathom and understand that he is free to leave.
Oh my
That is the phenomenon we are facing.
Oh my God.
It is something that you mentioned already. It is a form of cognitive dissonance. It clashes so fundamentally with truths that have been driven so deeply into your psyche that when you are exposed to the truth, it creates confusion. For a while, what is your task? And I have to compliment you on that. And my task, we have to continue repeating the message over and over, because these new messages do not penetrate on the first hearing. You have to repeat them over and over. You know, when you were going to school and the teacher introduced a new subject, they will often repeat it, sometimes for an entire week, because new concepts are sometimes hard to grasp. Some will grasp it right away, others will take a little longer, but in general, it will take a time for a people who have been psychologically brutalized to comprehend these types of messages.
Wow. Wow. Let me welcome our friends who are just joining us. If you just you're just joining us, welcome to the Raw Truth. We have attorney at law DENICO BRISON here with us, good friend of mine, and of course, the mission this evening is to open to you some very delicate matters which we were not or have not been able to comprehend. And I'm going to ask you, please share this live with your friends, because it will get absolutely very interesting as we move forward. Now, let me get into this presentation. I'm going to take a minute and just go through this and bring in my beloved brother, Brother Bryson, as I go along, because I think he is best fitted to explain this as we go along as a legal mind, one versatile in law and the connotations thereof, or the implications thereof. Yes? He made himself available to explain some of these things to us as we go along. Please share this with your friends. I'm not going to stop saying this because I need everyone to hear this. Everyone. Now, with all the countries I mentioned earlier who are now independent, the question is, what is independence? Now, independence is the fact or process of being set free from legal, social, political, and I might dare add, colonial restrictions. Yes? Emancipation is also liberation. And that is the action of setting someone free from imprisonment or slavery or dictatorship, I may add, or oppression. Emancipation is release. My question is, have we been released?
No, the people of the BVI and the people of the former Nelson Antilles, we are still subject to colonial domination. As long as a European nation can place you under an order of council, you are not emancipated. You are still suffering under foreign domination and exploitation. Those are the words that the United Nations use to describe the situation that the peoples of the BVI and the peoples of St. Martin, where I live, those are the conditions that we are under. Now, we must be honest and put it in historical perspective.
Yes.
It is a far cry from the abject subjugation of slavery and even colonialism. But yes, we are still on the way to emancipation, because when a man can sit in Whitehall and threaten to take over your governance, it reminds you exactly how abject you are still.
Oh my God. And the same is applicable to Anguilla, Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, all overseas territories. Very same is applicable.
One man in Whitehall can decide by via of a legal instrument called an order in council that they can take over direct rule of the island. They have done it in the Cayman Islands a couple of years ago. But the good news is we have now discovered that the right to self-determination is a jus cogens norm, and that all of those legal instruments are actually null and void on the law because they violate a higher law.
Let us move on, because now this becomes a very interesting, it will build into a very, very interesting presentation. Now let us look at, so it is clear now that in relation to all overseas territories, and even those who call themselves independent nations, because I find that part very interesting as well. They use the name independent nations, but they are still held, controlled in many ways, and still subjugated in many ways by virtue of having connections with the colonialist, which I will get to in a minute. Now let us look at this. Dependent nations, as we mentioned earlier: Anguilla, Bermuda, British Antarctic territories, British Indian Ocean territory, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Falklands Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat. All of these islands are what we call dependent territories. And each of these were given a constitution. Now, remember, Britain does not have a constitution, but all overseas territories do. That is something to note. Now watch this. What's a constitution? The Constitution states, and this is what the Constitution says. And most all overseas territories each has a constitution, and they are quite similar. They don't divert from the other much at all, if any at all, because they were all built on the same structure. The Constitution of the Virgin Islands, or Anguilla, or the Cayman Islands, or Turks and Caicos, whichever of the overseas territories there be,
Well,
as outlined here.
I read the Constitution, and it said an important thing, that the BVI should be governed based on adherence to well-established democratic principles and institutions. And coming back to it, the rule of law, according to the Europeans, the rule of law is a pillar of a democratic society. Britain is one of the greatest champions in the world of the rule of law. As a matter of fact, the British common law system is one of the world's most recognized and universally used legal systems. And under their own legal system, the BVI has, not is entitled, but has this peremptory, this jus cogens right to self-determination, from which there is no deviation. No order in council can penetrate that, meaning that the BVI is practically sovereign within the constellation that it is right now. Because what does the right of self-determination mean? We talk about it all the time. I will tell you the definition of it. It means this, that decisions about the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not by others. Moreover,
finish and then I continue. Gosh, you're right.
Moreover, such decisions are made without any outside pressure or interference. That is the definition of this jus cogens right to self-determination that our leaders are not aware of. It has been hidden away. We pulled it out. That is what the European nations define as your right to self-determination. Let me repeat it. Decisions about the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not others. Moreover, such decisions are made without any outside pressure or interference. Holding that definition in your hand, there is absolutely no role for Britain to play on the BVI. There is no role for your governor because decisions about the BVI are made by people of the BVI, not by others.
Let us break right there because this is gonna get real juicy. let me continue. Each overseas territory has a constitution. Now, share, friends, share, because this is gonna get real sweet. Now, the constitution reads, whereas the people of the territory of the Virgin Islands or Anguilla or Cayman Islands or whichever other overseas territories, yes, have over centuries evolved with a distinct cultural identity, which is the essence of a Virgin Islander or an Anguillan or a Caymanian or whatever else you call yourself. Yes? Acknowledging that the society of such island or territory is based upon certain moral, spiritual, and democratic values, including a belief in God, the dignity of the man or the woman, the freedom of the individual, and respect for fundamental rights and freedoms and the rule of law. I want you to note that. I want you to note that.
Keep that in mind. That is the key thing.
Hold on. I get down to daddy. Hold on. Mindful that the people of the Virgin Islands have expressed a desire for their constitution to reflect who they are as a people and the country and their quest for social justice, economic empowerment, and political advancement. Recognizing that the people of the Virgin Islands or any other overseas territories have a free and independent spirit and have developed themselves into and their country based on qualities of honesty, integrity, mutual respect, self-reliance, and the ownership of the land. Engendering a strong sense of belonging to the kingship with those lands. Note that as well. Recalling that because of historical, economic, and other reasons, many of the people of the overseas territories reside elsewhere, but have and continue to have an ancestral connection and bond with these islands. Accepting that the Virgin Islands and all overseas territories should be governed based on adherence to well-established democratic principles and institutions. Two more paragraphs and we're done. Affirming that the people of the Virgin Islands and all overseas territories have generally expressed their desire to become a self-governing people. Know that. And to express the highest degree of control over the affairs of their country at this stage of its development, and nothing that the United Kingdom, the administering power for the time being, note that as well, has articulated a desire to enter into a modern partnership with the Virgin Islands or all such nations based on the principles of mutual respect and self-determination.
That is the key word. Mutual. As long as they put in the word self-determination, that is the key to
Is it that Britain has kicked itself in the butt when this country? Is it that our people are not reading?
Yes, there it was hidden from them right on the paper. They did not realize
they're not reading.
No. What happened is this: I myself did not know for a long time that the right of self-determination was this "Usko." You see, the thing is this, Kenny. It's these two words, "Uskogens." That is the quality that is attached to the right of self-determination that I wasn't aware of as a jurist. When I understood it and studied it, I could not believe it. It was as if somebody slipped a prisoner in a cell a hacksaw blade.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Those two words are the equivalent of somebody slipping a prisoner in a cell, a sharp hacksaw blade.
This is the fundamental, this is the core of all the constitutions that could have been written for any and all overseas territories or any Commonwealth nation under British rule anywhere in the world. This, affirming that the people of any overseas territory have generally expressed their desire to become a sovereign, a self-governing people, and to exercise the highest degree of control over the affairs of their country at this stage of its development. Nothing that the United Kingdom in the administering power for the time being, it must be noted, administering power for the time being, has articulated a desire to enter into a modern partnership. Now, this modern partnership is questionable with any overseas territory based on the principles of mutual respect and self-determination. If it is, and this is my question, if it is that British rule is temporary for the time being, and if it is that the desire for self-determination is to be respected, a partnership may abrogate that position if the people within these Commonwealth nations are not careful, because a partnership will dictate that the partner reserves the right to dictate as well.
Okay, say these words tonight for the first time, Kenny, and repeat them. You skokens. Say, you skokens.
You spoken.
Yeah, say it again. You skokens.
You spoken.
Okay. And then say the other words, compelling law.
Compelling law.
Yeah. Keep that. That is the quality that is attached to self-determination. It is compelling law. You cannot deviate from it. The partner cannot overrule it. That is the right that the people of the Virgin Islands have that was hidden from them for the last 60, 70 years.
Wow.
That Uskogan's quality of the right of self-determination, that is the hacksaw blade, because that prevents the British state from having any influence or say on the BVI. Let me repeat again. What is the definition of the right of self-determination? The right of the people of the BVI to determine their own, make their own decisions without any outside pressure or interference. If you are making your decisions without any outside pressure of interference, Kenny, as a mathematical proposition, if I make my decisions without any outside pressure or interference, realistically, what role does it leave for Great Britain to play on the BVI?
Well, you see, the problem such territories are having right now, my brother, and
is that they do not believe their own words. You have to believe these things.
But number two, the people prefer, by virtue of their own ignorance, they prefer, and it is said, they prefer to go down the tube with Britain than to allow their own, than to allow their own people to govern them.
Now, here is the nice, repeat the words, Uskokens. Say them again.
Uskokens.
Uskokens. Compelling law. Compelling law binds Britain to abide by it, but it also binds the government of the BVI to respect it. That right to self-determination. And that right of self-determination belongs to the peoples. So they do not have any authority to go along with any measure that Britain might propose that compromises that right of self-determination of the people. And what is that right? The people of the decisions about the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not others. That is a cardinal rule. That particular rule leaves no role for Britain to play on the island. The governor can close his office and leave because decisions on the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not others.
It is interesting that you're using the BVI as a classic reference point because you're talking about all overseas territories as I see them.
But since we are on the BVI,
the same thing applies to all of them. But look at this again, my brother. You're talking
right now on St. Martin, we have the Dutch state. We have the Dutch state under the gun with those particular issues because we are telling them, but these are principles that you yourself enunciate. We didn't get this thing out. We didn't invent these things. These are things that the Dutch state itself enunciated before the International Court of Justice. These are universal international law principles that we have discovered that they were using unknown to us.
Look at this now. Let us take one step down because I find this very interesting. I was doing a little digging today, and my God, the thing blew me away when I realized it. As you say, it's like a hacksaw blade in a prison cell. Now you look at the fact that these territories are what you call dependent territories, and even those who, in my mind, from the fact that they call themselves independent states, are still dependent.
Okay,
all of them. All of them.
Let me explain you. I have in my hands a powerful book by Dr. Walter Rodney, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. And he says the following: if economic power is centered outside national boundaries, then political and military power in any real sense is also centered outside.
Look here. Pause. Pause.
Okay, you understand that? Economic power is centered outside national boundaries, then military and political power in any real sense is centered outside. And he said, until and unless the masses of peasants and workers are mobilized to offer an alternative to the system, and here comes the word, of sham political independence.
Let's move. Let's keep it moving. Every independent nation has a governor. Every overseas territory has a governor. The question now is, let us look at the governor for a minute. What is the role of the governor? Now, this is going to be a very interesting outline. The governor of all overseas territories and wherever else in the world you find them governor under British rule, this is not unique to the BVI, is appointed by and represents Her Majesty the Queen. Can I reread that? The governor of the British Virgin Islands and all overseas territories and all independent nations under the Commonwealth is appointed by and represents Her Majesty the Queen. The governor is the representative of Her Majesty the Queen in the territory and the constitutional head of state, and represents the territories or the country's interests to Her Majesty's government in London. I hope you heard that. It is written before you on the screen. Read it. The governor is responsible for maintaining peace, order, and good governance. He is also de facto, I want you to note that word, de facto head of the public service, oversees the administration of the courts and chairs cabinet meetings. He is responsible directly to the Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs. The office has been used by most colonial powers, but is perhaps been known among the countries of the Commonwealth. Absolutely. Now, let us switch. I want you to note these words now. I'm talking to my people. Note these words. What is the meaning of de facto? De facto describes practices that exist in reality, whether or not they are officially recognized by law or other forms of norms. Can I reread that? De facto describes practices that exist in reality, whether or not they are officially recognized by law or other formal norms. It is commonly used to refer to what happens in practice, in contrast with de jure, which refers to things that happen according to law. Brother DENICO, we're in trouble.
No, we're not in trouble. Because you didn't grasp the message yourself. Let us go back. Juskogens. What is a Juskogens? What is this Jus? Go back to it again. As of tonight, those things can no longer work because you have become acquainted with your rights under the Juskogens norm of self-determination. And what that means, let's go back again. The position you describe of a governor is directly in conflict with the rule, the definition of self-determination, which is decisions about the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not by others. Moreover, such decisions are made without outside pressure interference. Once you hang on to that definition, the governor could close his office tomorrow morning because decisions on the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not by others.
But then, my brother, you see, it is clear now, and we have to come to this place. It's a place of reality or realization. If you tell me that I am independent, as is in Jamaica, as is in St. Vincent, as it is in wherever else we are given the right, and I put given in quotes, to self-determine. But you still have a man in the house.
But that is because as of tomorrow morning, you know, with this new knowledge, you have to confront him and tell him, hey, I learned something new. Juskogens. Tell them, go and look up what that means. You have to confront them with it now. That is what we are doing here on St. Martin. We are confronting the Dutch state with this new reality. You cannot know these facts and act as if you don't know them. You have to act on them. That is what we are doing.
And it is lawful to do so. It is within the rights of the man, the woman to do exactly this.
Not only that, but the Constitution says that the Virgin Islands are a country under the rule of law. And that is a rule of law. Juskogens is a rule of law. So tomorrow morning, with this new knowledge, repeat the words Juskogens, you confront the governor and you explain, under that law, decisions on the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not by others. What are you doing here? You're violating. If you said this is the rule of law, you are violating. The very fact that you have an office on the BVI is a violation of the law.
It is a absolutely so. Absolutely.
Because decisions in the BVI are made by the people of the BVI, not by others.
And there should be no external
interference or pressure
for the decisions made by the people of these lands across the Commonwealth, where there are governors sitting in the House.
They are made without outside pressure interference. You see, even for you, it's difficult to grasp that this is new information. You have to act on it and start confronting him. It's going to create a lot of confusion, but it is written in their own law books. It comes from their law schools, from their legal system.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
There is absolutely no role for a governor to play on the BVI if the right to self-determination means that decisions are made by the people of the BVI themselves and not by others. There is no role for a governor.
And I'm always instilling this in our people across the Commonwealth. But this is 100% applicable to you as well. 100%.
Yes, but this is new information that we only recently discovered.
Yes.
No, this for you, even it is new, that it is not an emotional argument. These are legal arguments.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So now to recap this a bit, and it's very, very serious. De facto describes practices that exist in reality, whether or not they are officially recognized by law. This is dangerous. Or other formal norms, whether or not they are recognized by law or other formal norms. De facto. The governor holds a de facto position, and he's there.
He owns a de facto and de jure. He owns it in both ways.
Yes.
His position, yes. But both of them violate, both of them are in violation of that jus cogens right to self-determination. That overrides all of that stuff. It has an exalted, hierarchically, it is superior to those norms.
Wow.
It is what we call in law a super norm.
So the question now is, and it needs to be brought into question, where all Commonwealth nations with a governor general is still under the Queen.
And that is a violation, again, go back again, and it is violating the jus cogens right to self-determination.
It is
every place you find it, it's a violation of the law. It is an unlawful position.
Brother, my brother, it is and every August, sir, every August, our ladies dress up in panties and strings, and the man dress up in brief with a penis outside, and everybody go wind up on everybody outside and form their ass outside, celebrating independence. Huh? Everybody go celebrate independence and wind up on each other because we have been emancipated. From what?
That is the emancipation from slavery. That is what they're celebrating. It's actually from slavery. The first August of every month, every year.
My brother, let me burst that bubble. We are all still under what we call chattel slavery. Let's face it.
Yes. But let's put it this way.
It hasn't gone anywhere. It is just modernized. It hasn't gone anywhere. Where has it gone?
Let's put it this way. From the historical perspective, looking from where we were in 1650 to where we are today, there is materially and objectively, de facto and de jure, there is a big difference in our status. It is.
Still called slaves, right?
No, we are no longer slaves, because if you look at the material conditions that existed in 1650 and the material conditions that exist today, they are vastly different.
Let me burst your bubble again. Let me burst your bubble again, my brother.
Yes.
It was once physical. It is now psychological. It hasn't gotten any better, and this is even more dangerous.
Well, like I explained you how Dr. Rodney explained it, the education, how did they do that? They do it. I went to education. I attended a lot of these colonialist schools.
Yeah, you talk about them schools. That is a whole nother discussion.
Okay, and like he explained, those schools are designed to create mental confusion. Yes. They are designed to create mental confusion. One day I was reading a book, an endorsement of a book, and it was endorsed by Chalk Dust. He's a professor down at the University of the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
Yes. You remember the Calypsonian?
Yeah, man.
He endorsed a book of poems by a poet on St. Martin by the name of Lassana Sekou.
Yes.
And he wrote something that made me think. He said, education is never neutral. It is either for domination or indoctrination.
Let me see if I can pull something up here. Because it is as serious as it gets. And my goodness, because of our ignorance. My goodness. Let me share this with my people. I'm sure you're seeing this you're seeing the screen I have here.
Yeah, let me see it. Make it a little bigger. A little bigger.
Let me see.
I'll read it. Well, you can read it.
What is education? Hold on. Let me get out of this. And I'm gonna go. Let me go directly to because this might be very interesting. Let me go directly to Google. And just pull up a general. This might shock most of us as well. This might shock most of us. Because when the day is done, we are confusing education with knowledge. And this has been the problem for many centuries because we were not taught the truth. Now, let me get into this. Are we seeing this?
Yes, we are.
Good. Now let us look at this definition of education. Education, discipline that concerns the method of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments as opposed to various non-formal, whatever else it says. Let me get into this to see what it says. Good. Discipline that is concerned with methods of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments, as opposed to various non-formal and informal means of socialization, rural development projects, education through parent-child relationship. Okay, let me get out of that. And let me type in what knowledge is and see if I find anything on it. What is knowledge?
Well, I could give you a definition of knowledge. You know what is knowledge for the people of the BVI? Knowledge is the information that your right of self-determination is a jus cogens norm and that it supersedes any law in the British Empire. That is knowledge.
Look here. Definition of knowledge. The fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity gained through experience or association. I'm not even going to go any further. What are we getting in school? Are we getting knowledge or are we getting education? Now, this is a very serious question, and I think our educators need to stop. Now, what I notice we have done is in the early, I'm not sure if it was the early 80s, late 80s, or early 80s, perhaps it was, late 70s, early 80s. They removed skills training from schools. No more auto mechanics. No more electronics in schools. No more plumbing. No more tiling. No more skills. It is all about academia. And when you become the lawyer or the doctor or the accountant or the whatever else you want to become, many of our students leave these institutions all the way up to university, get home with their doctorate and their master's degrees, hang it on the wall, and sit at home without a job. Whereas the plumber, whereas the tiler, whereas the automotive specialist, whereas all of these people who learn practical skills are marketable. In other words, they can get out of school and start their business on the fly without thinking about it. Well, there's a difference between education and knowledge. Now, for people like yourself, as a legal mind who was trained in the art of law, of course, you could set up your own practice, and of course, it works well in the interest of the corporation to employ you because that is why you were trained. But at the same time, the average man, maybe 80% of all persons going through that sausage machine, coming out of it, are not as fortunate as those who have gone to skills training institutions, who have come out with practical knowledge to transform their lives. It has been working from the 60s until now. It has never changed.
Well, yes. let me tell you something about in that regard. One day, I was a young person, still a teenager. I wandered into a class at the campus of the University of the West Indies at St. Augustine. And they were conducting a class in something called political economy. And the professor made a remark that I will never forget. He said, "We are not educating you to look for a job, but to create jobs." So if somebody has a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, that person should not be looking for a job. They should be creating jobs.
I agree. And it is now a matter of comprehension in relation to what we're about to reposition ourselves to become functional. Now, let me stroll down this rabbit hole a little deeper. We've been talking about emancipation. And in the minds of many of our people, emancipation is this. This is emancipation for most of us. This is the it. And if the crowd not thick and the music not loud and most everybody not half naked, this is not emancipation. That is what we're accustomed to.
Well, in my book, emancipation is the realization that you have the Juskokan's right to self-determination, and you use that information to confront the governor tomorrow morning and ask him, "Sir, if I have this right to determine my own affairs without any outside pressure or interference, can you explain me what purpose or what is your mission here?" That is emancipation. And that is what we are all about.
I am hoping that our people who are watching this program this evening are
tomorrow morning, well, first of all, learn the words, Juskochens. And tomorrow morning, ask their politicians to ask the governor If the right to self-determination means that the people of the BVI makes decisions about the BVI, not others, what is the governor doing on the BVI? That should be the honest concern from now on for the people of the BVI. If we have this Jus Cogens right to self-determination, what is the governor doing here?
But the other point again, sir, when they swear in these prime ministers or these presidents or whatever they're called, if you notice, they swear to protect the interests of the Queen.
That should be done away with forthright. That is all part of the emancipation process.
They
All
swear
of those
to
things
protect.
should be laid aside.
Can you imagine? The people put them into office and they swear to protect the best interest of the Queen when they have the right to self-determine.
Because they do not, this information, you and I are sharing virgin information. Your job from here on in is to spread this message so that those things no longer happen. You have a social responsibility to educate, to inform, to propagate, to promote this information. That, guys, pronounce the word Jus Cogens, the right to self-determination is a superior norm. It cannot be violated by an order in council. A governor cannot violate it. That is the information we have to keep repeating over and over to our people, to our leaders, because it is new information. It is radical information, and it will take a time to catch on.
But my thing is, sir, and I keep asking the question: if these things are written in the Constitution, how in the name of the great God of the universe could we have been up? Of course, it was quite well hidden. But you're talking about government officials putting them hand on the Bible and swearing in the House of Assembly and in Parliament, and they don't read the Constitution?
Well, like I told you, these things, you have to do some drilling down. I had seen the word, let me explain you. From 2019, I had the document in my hand speaking about the right to self-determination as a peremptory norm. And believe you me, I did not focus on what it meant. And I had it in my hands for a long time. So sometimes you have to drill down.
Spell that word for me. One of my listeners, is it Juskokas? Is that the word?
No, it is J as in John, U as in Utah, S as in September. Juice. That's the first one. J-U-S. You have it?
No. Well, actually, I want my listener, my viewers, to get the facts, to get the word, because it is important for them to have it.
Okay, it's J-U-S. That's the first. It's two words, and the other one is Cogens. Cogens is C, the C of Colombia. The O of October. The G of good. The E of Easter. The N of November, and the S of September.
Just Cognis. Is it? Oh, sorry.
Cogens. Yeah, Cogens. It's a Latin word.
Or Cogens? Which ones? Is it Spanish or what?
It is Latin.
Latin. Okay. All right.
That is Latin. You know, in law, there's a lot of Latin thrown around.
There you go.
Put that in Google. When you have a chance, put that in Google, and you'll see what it tells you.
I'm gonna go there right now because I find this very interesting.
That is what we should forget about the people jumping in the street. This is what they should focus on. Put it in Google, those two words.
It is powerful information, and our people need to.
Yes, it's new information. People need to become aware of it.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Here we go. Let me wow.
What it says on the Wikipedia, what it says in Wikipedia.
Hold on. I don't have to go too far because it is absolutely interesting to note. Let me take this off from my buddy.
Read it
here.
up.
Absolutely interesting stuff. Just Coggins, compelling law. Compelling law. Here it is.
Yes.
Refers to certain fundamental overriding principles of international law. My God, look at this.
Overriding.
Yes.
That's what we are talking about. And that is what the right of self-determination is. It is a jus cogens norm.
Wow.
That quality,
and our people sit, my God, this is crazy.
and that quality is what is attached to the right of self-determination. It is an overriding norm. It overrides any law in the kingdom.
So it is clear then, it is clear therefore, that all Commonwealth governments,
All Commonwealth governments,
have been forming the ass, literally.
exactly. There are no non-self-governing territories. You see what it says there on overriding.
Yes, overriding indeed, absolutely.
Yes, an order and council cannot set aside a jus cogens norm. It cannot touch it.
Wow.
A governor cannot touch that.
So the BVI need to wake the hell up, and wherever else within the Commonwealth need to get their act together. Please share this, my friends, because this is absolutely powerful stuff. And if it is that we are not informing ourselves, we need to get it right. The time has come for us to fix this crap.
Now that is where you come into the picture. You know it now, and what we have done with this information, we have confronted the Dutch state with it, and I'll tell you what, it has created a lot of cognitive dissonance and left them scratching their heads.
Wow. Wow.
And the question we are asking them, if we have this right, what are you doing here? If we are to make our decisions ourselves, not by others, it doesn't leave any role for you.
So it is now lawful to make this statement that a governor has no place
on the island,
within the Commonwealth, or in any overseas territories or dependent territories, as they are called. They are actually in violation of not only the Constitution, but the Just Cogens
norm.
Yes, indeed.
He's violating a jus cogens norm. The right to self-determination is an overriding rule. Nothing can touch that. He has no function here.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. St. Kitts just got sworn in at that, and I watched it with deep interest as the governor had him sworn in. And I said, my God, if people are independent, how the hell we still hanging on to the skirt tail of the Queen? How is it we still have British symbolism and all of that within our systems as we move to
number one? They don't understand the concept of jus cogens. They do not understand that their right to self-determination is jus cogens. You have to give no consideration to those things.
It overrides all principles that are outlined by international law. It outright overrides it. Nothing has any place within the Commonwealth or overseas territories except if one chooses so to do. And I'm saying it is
you cannot. And here the next thing. You cannot choose to violate a jus cogens norm.
Well, look here, sir. The people in the BVI, for example, and I keep saying this, they are saying we prefer to have Britain in here because if we turn over the thing to our own leaders, they're going to screw us. So we rather go down the tube with Britain than to have
No, and that is where that is the funny thing about Juskogans.
Ignorance.
You cannot make an agreement to violate a Juskogans norm. That agreement itself is null and void. You know what is a Jusko? You know what is a Juskogans norm? The prohibition against slavery belongs to that category. No country in the world can pass any law to reintroduce slavery for the simple fact that it is a Juskogans norm, and those laws are null and void ab initio.
Marie Medea, you're right. That dumbness, you talk about dumbness. It is blowing my mind that all of these things have been written in plain sight.
You understand? You understand now? You understand now what I'm saying? You cannot make an agreement to violate a Juskogans norm. That agreement itself is invalid.
Absolutely.
You cannot even enforce it.
Absolutely.
So if the people of the Virgin Islands were to go to England and said, England, we would like you to come in here and do so and so, England will have to tell them, no, your right to self-determination is of an overriding nature.
But the problem is this, sir. Britain has nothing to lose, because if the people, listen, this is the stupidity of this matter. The people have taken this territory from a bird sanctuary as was defined by a British subject. They have moved it from a bird sanctuary to one of the strongest financial capital in the world. Yes? So Britain is seeing trillions of dollars at their disposal. The poor people are too stupid to figure that out.
Well, from tonight, you know better. From tonight, you know better. You looked up what Juskogans means. And it means, among other things, that you cannot make a rule, an agreement, to violate a Juskogans rule.
Wow. To all our friends who are just joining us, thank you for coming in and welcome. If you're just coming in, you need to, when we're done, click the link and listen from top, because this is an absolutely very powerful presentation. I hope that you'll be able to share this with all your politicians, especially those of us who are in overseas territories, or you are under the Commonwealth rule, so to speak. Whether you're in Jamaica or wherever else you are, I see Barbados removing themselves. And they need to do it not only in word, but in deed. All trivia and all aspects of colonialism needs to be thrown out by law. The time has come.
Yes, there's another word that is synonymous to Juskogans. It is called peremptory.
Yes.
Let me spell it for you. P as in Peter, E as in Easter, R as in red, E as in Easter, M as in Mary, P as in Peter, T as in Thomas, O as in October, R as in red, and Y as in yes. Peremptory.
Yes.
Put it in Google.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're blowing my mind tonight. You're absolutely blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind, brother. You're absolutely blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind. Let me get rid of this one and put up peremptory. I find this is. I find this.
You ever heard that word used before?
Yes, I hear you using it.
Okay.
Because these seem to be very unfamiliar terms.
But you see what Juskogans is.
Yes.
Okay, put in peremptory, you'll see what it says.
Peremptory, putting an end or precluding a right of action, debate or delay, not providing an opportunity to show cause why one could not comply.
That's it, peremptory. You're not allowed to show cause why you cannot comply. That is what the right of self-determination is. It's a peremptory norm. The governor has no opportunity to show cause why he should be on the Virgin Islands, because your right to self-determination is a peremptory norm.
Admitting of no contradiction, expressing of urgency or command.
Exactly, no contradiction. That is what the right of self-determination, that is what a jus cogens norm is. It is peremptory. It does not allow no contradiction.
You know, one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, my beloved brother, and this is, I mentioned it earlier, that so-called indigenous peoples have been living, technically, the chiefs, and I said it categorically, that our people have been abrogated. The rights of our people are being abrogated by the very indigenous chiefs themselves, who have not been using appropriate means to liberate their people.
Well, Dr. Walter Rodney says this about that.
And it's a serious matter. Yes.
He says, not only are there African accomplices in the imperialist system, that system works because we have accomplices.
Wow.
And those accomplices are those who manipulate the system and those who are either agents or unwitting accomplices of the said system.
I think we have a lot of agents in the whole, and you're right, a lot of agents. I've seen some crap coming from one of them. I'm going to show, listen, I take my time and I'm watching them very closely. And I choose to touch none of the crap as it coming out of that sector. As yet, I think the time is coming and I will need to do so.
So let me repeat it. Second, one has to deal with those who manipulate the system.
Yes.
And those who are agents or unwitting accomplices of the said system.
You know what has been happening, my brother? And I can tell you that as one who has the best interests of your people at heart. You know what has been happening? So-called indigenous chiefs have been hosting classes, teaching people all kinds of madness and bullcrap. I've never heard such things in my life for the most part. And when the day is done, you know, after they have indoctrinated them in all of this crap and teach them all kinds of madness, you know what they're doing with them? Charging them money to become members of nations. And guess what? The nations are yet to be recognized by law. Because it is something that they are doing to hide off someplace, either up in a hill or someplace around the back or someplace.
Well, they can do what they want, but you now understand what a peremptory norm is and what jus cogens means. So you are no longer a sheep.
Well, a black man, perhaps. Because they are quick to tell you that black has no status in law. So and we have to figure it out, right? Listen, brother, it is absolute madness. And let me tell you something, my beloved brother. I must tell you how much I appreciate you being able to come onto this program and talk with us in a way that makes sense. I think our people are yet to get knowledge. And the same people like yourself who they say have no standing in law and you're all crap and they're cussing you out that you're this and that. If they were talking to more people like yourself, they would have been a lot more knowledgeable, because you are very knowledgeable in matters of international law and, of course, functional matters of empowerment and liberation as a lawyer. I'm not sure if we understand that not all lawyers have the best interest of anyone at heart, because most of them is just about the money. But not all lawyers are criminals. You have good people.
Well, let me explain you one of the guiding principles of my life. A lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society.
Well, you said it, right? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow.
That was said by the Dean of Howard University Law School.
Wow, wow. Well, thank God you did not become a parasite, my beloved brother. But
on society.
Yes.
He said you are either a social engineer or you are a parasite on society.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It is now 10 o'clock, my brother. I have some other business to take care of. Would you mind if I take? Would you think if I take leave of you?
You did well. And let me tell you something. It is absolutely amazing that you did make the time to come. Please take care of yourself, and all the very best until we catch up the next time around. All the best.
All right. Let me know how it goes with your Juskokans and how the governor accepts the news that he has to dismantle his office and abandon the territory.
You bet. You bet. You bet.
All right.
All the very best to you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Let me say this to you. I find this an absolutely incredible presentation. And as I promised you earlier, the reason why we are not more informed is because we don't pay attention. You know, if it was Shabba Ranks coming on this program, or Buju Banton, or one of those artists, you'd have had tens of thousands of people line up to listen to this man talking whatever else you want to say. But for the most part, most of us do not realize that the very people who we kick in the button feel they don't have much to say to anyone are the people like myself who are prepared to give you knowledge to save your own asses. Let me put that in quotes. And I'm not going to stop doing it, because when the day is done, there is always an audience. And I appreciate my brothers and sisters who are here, who seek to make it your business every week at every Monday evening at 8 o'clock to come to join us right here on The Raw Truth to hear what is happening. I totally respect it. And I'm going to ask you, and in as much as you can share the word, because we are going to continue to bring on this platform some very important people to help us liberate ourselves. And for all our indigenous, so-called indigenous people who are swindled by some jackasses, and I put that in quotes as well. They don't know whether they're going up or coming down, going left or right, and yet they have all the people around them who running, following fish and bread. I don't know how fish and bread tastes, because I don't know what kind of fish and bread they're giving anybody anyway. But they know people are searching to be liberated. They know that people have a need to free themselves from the bondage they're under. And as a result of that need, they put the people more in bondage rather than freeing them. It is disgraceful. I have a serious problem with it. And I am going to, as a matter of process, bring on this platform legal minds, experts in law, who are prepared to help us understand how to use the very same pen that your slave masters used to put you in bondage to free yourself. It is very simple. I've been doing my research, and oh my God, I'm absolutely it is stunning to realize how simple it is to take yourself out of bondage. Yes, very simple. It is just understanding the process. They use the pen to put you into bondage. Use the pen to take yourself out. Don't follow people who don't know where the hell they're going. And most of these chiefs that some of you are following, delete them off your phone, ban them, move away. They're only putting you in bondage. Most of them, as the goodly honorable law expert mentioned earlier, and he's a good man, a credible man. Most of them are agents. It is not a joke, you know. It is. Listen to me. 10 o'clock is gone. I can't believe that. Yes, you can hear it on your channel in Anguilla. Yes, you can hear it on any channel you wish. Yes, please feel free. Make sure that you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, like it, follow it. Go to our LinkedIn channel, like it as well. Go to our Twitter channel, like it. Yes. If you want us to send you direct updates on let me get over there so you can follow as well. Yes. If you wish for us to send you direct updates via your WhatsApp, please copy this WhatsApp in your phone and send us a note saying, please send update. That's all you need to do. Please send update, and we will be very happy to send you updates whenever the program is coming on so you can connect directly. Just send your name with the message, please send update, and we'll be very happy to do so. The time has come for you to connect to credible sources, because we have a lot of bogus people all over the whole world, and now they're fighting against false information. A lot of people are providing false information. Absolutely disgusting. And we have to take a very strong position against that as well. Thank you so much for coming on, my beloved people. I love you a lot. Love you. I'm very happy that you all made it. You're making it your time to come here. Love you lots. And make sure, let me put this there again, that you, for those of us who didn't get it quite yet, make sure you add this number to your WhatsApp, send your name and a message. Please send update, and we will add you to our WhatsApp list. And every time we send out our updates, you will be first to be updated. Of course, we make sure that you stay connected as we continue to present to you some very interesting guests right here on The Raw Truth and PSI TV. Take care of yourselves. Love each other. Listen to me. I said it all the time, and I'm going to close. Let me say it again. Make a friend before you need one. Don't wait until things get out of hand before you start running up and down and look for people to bail you out. Things are going to get tough. It is tough already for many people. Don't wait until you're dropping off the limb before you start reaching out for help. Seek a friend before you need one. Seek a friend before you need one. Things are going to get tough, people. It's going to get to the place where food is going to become a necessity. Water is going to become a necessity. Come together, plan to save yourselves. Put plans in place to save yourselves. Come together as a community to save yourselves. Don't allow yourselves to be ripped apart, because this is going to become 100% very serious if we are not together and have a plan to save ourselves. The world is no place for us to take for granted. I probably might have to bring a holistic person on this program as well. So we look at alternative medicine, yes, because a lot of us are now finding ourselves in serious positions where we can't even afford a doctor. Many doctors don't even understand what is wrong with us as a people. A lot of people take the injection and now dying, and now the cause of death is unknown. Listen, don't let me go down that rabbit hole. Take care of yourselves. All the best. And we will catch you a little later. Peace, love. Next Monday.
Money is the root of all evil. Oh yeah. I don't know if I sell them birthright and I sell out the people now. Some of them are kill and maim, and some are rob all the people. Oh yeah. But Judge are not sleep, and he might go take them out. Hey, it's getting